Hello and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Ascending the Mount, Part 2. We discussed in the introductory shir that the topic of going up to Har Bayit is a phenomenal topic, and like any topic in all of the Torah, you can learn and enjoy the Torah, Shabbat, the written law, the oral on the topic, and we have, of course, the reward of learning Torah. And regarding halacha l'maseh, to go or not to go, that really will depend on each one's posting. In this year, I'd like to just analyze the Kedusha. Is there Kedusha on the Har Bayit in that area today or not? And once we're asking that question, is there Kedusha in the whole Aretz, in all of Israel, without the Mikdash? What are the halachic ramifications of that? Huge. Regarding the temple area, do we say that there's Kedusha there and that one could not go up to any area in the Har Bayit in that area? And do we say that theoretically there was Kedusha and therefore one could bring a korban there? Do we say there's Kedusha all around there it's Israel and therefore we have the halachot, the Trum and Maser? And when we say Kedusha, we're not talking about some mystical idea, we're talking about simple halachic status. Do you have Kedusha Eretz Israel, where therefore you'll have Trumotu, Masrot, Kedusha Eretz, and mitzvot that are dependent on Israel, and you have the Kedusha halachically in Yerushalayim. So the Rambam writes in Hilchot Beit HaBechira, he writes that the Kedusha that was endowed by Shlomo in the first Mikdash, that's Kedusha, the Shatav Kitchala Latidlavo, that Kedusha remains. And the Rambam writes that's Kedusha from the Shechina, so to speak, rested during the times of Shlomo and the Mikdash, and the whole Yerushalayim area, that hasn't gone away. Even though the Mikdash was destroyed, we were exiled by Nebuchadnezzar, still that Kedusha remained. So that started by the times of Shlomo. That Kedusha was there, and it remained forever till this very day. What about the Kedusha of the rest of Eretz Israel? So the Rambam is a fascinating point. He says that Kedusha, the rest of Eretz Israel, was set up by the Kivush, the conquest of Eretz Israel, in the earlier days. And it lasted as long as we had the conquest, which means that in the times of Nebuchadnezzar, when we were kicked out, we lost our conquest, we lost our kivush ha'aretz, the Kedusha was gone. In Beit Shemesh, Beersheba, no Kedusha anymore of Kedusha Eretz Israel. Ezra came back, and the people 70 years later, that was, according to the Rambam, a Kedusha that comes not from Kivush conquest, but from Chazaka, just living. It wasn't a war that they fought. They received international permission. They lived there. And that Kedusha of Chazaka, of living and dwelling, that he endowed on Eretz Yisrael, that existed then and for all times, even after we lost Eretz in 70 in the common era to the Romans, to Titus. And we didn't get it back till 2,000 years later. Baruch Hashem, we finally have it. But during all those years, the Kedusha Ta'aretz still existed. The Rama says because that Kedusha came from Chazaka living, and that won't be removed even after we were kicked out. As opposed to the Kivush, when we conquered, then the Kedusha that came from the conquest, that's removed once we lost the conquest. That's the Rambam's idea. And of course, there's a lot of analysis. What exactly does the Rambam mean? Why does Kedusha from Chazaka, when we're staying, why does that remain? And Kedusha from Kivush conquest, why does that not remain? It's an interesting question, but for now, the categories that we need to know is that the Kedusha in Yerushalayim, in the Mikdash area, that was from Shlomo, according to the Rambam, and the Kedusha in the rest of Israel was from Ezra. What they have today is from Ezra, and that applies to all areas of Eretz Israel where Ezra had Chazaka, where they went up and they lived. And in Yetz Hashem, in the next year, number 3, we'll see, first, does everyone agree with the Rambam that there is Kedusha in the Temple Mount? And therefore we have all these questions of going up. And number 2, we'll analyze, once we assume that there's Kedusha going to the Rambam and others, so what are the ramifications of that? Shalom.